Hey everybody, welcome to Shifty's Club. Today is Saturday, and that means we're talking about sports. Well, today, actually, is the Masters, and I'm sure everybody wants to know a little about the Augusta golf course. And one of the one of the things people seem to misunderstand is that obviously the um, the golf course itself looks like it's so easy to play on, but it's because such great players are playing on it. This course, if you pay attention to the guys in the very back, even professionals can mess up so badly on this course. Let's kind of go over what the holes kind of look like, what the playing field is. The first hole is kind of weird. The first hole is a, ooh, excuse me, par 4, 445-yard course. And basically, the average par is usually, well, average with two decimals is 4.23. It's the sixth hardest par on the course. And the hole, it used to be very easy, but a little length was added. It's got a massive bunker on the right, and but now that it's at 330 yards, it's not really now. I mean, it's easier to cover, and that you have to also have a deep belly to the bottom of that hazard, and it makes reaching the green literally impossible. And the play to the left is frequently way left in the trees, and basically you have to make a shot over the shorter hills to even make it to the top of the fairway. And basically, if you leave it in the middle, you can pretty much every one of your long irons have to be taken out because there is literally one. If you make a mistake on this first hole, it literally could jeopardize your entire chances. That's why it's the first one. It's to test the player. And let's just say that the length is a tremendous advantage, but you have to know where to hit it to start with. Then you have a par 5, 575 yards, and this is the second hole. And obviously, being a par 5, it's not that hard of a hole. Um, even with the back tee was added in 99 to pretty much keep Tiger Woods from like being automatic. It's because the longest hitters will still basically hit it past the crest and down the hill of the fairway, and basically leading into wide open greens. The bunkers will help the player because there's really no risk. There's just basically basically it's not hard to get it from the bunkers onto the green from the angles that you have on the par 5 hole, and that's why it is so much easier. If someone does get it out, they can still try to either chip it back on the green or they can try for a long shot, which most people probably wouldn't do. um, but anyway, you also have the green, white downhill from the drive, landing areas. They feed like relentlessly back. Um, you also have basically if you can get within 100 feet of the hole in like two, if you can get it in two shots, then you pretty much the have the have the birdie. But I've known a few people that were able to drive the first 330, 340 yards and clear each and clear one bunker and avoid the trees to the other side. And um, they were able to um, tip the ball onto the green. Now, here's the thing about this, about the actual green. The green is kind of weird because you have a sand dune here, 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 and an even longer one here. And that's basically me looking at it. So just reverse the pattern. So for you guys, it would be, when you're looking at it, it'd be here. The pattern looks kind of like this. The same do you have one here, 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 and way back here is a larger one. And what this does is tries to force the player to want to try to hit the ball towards the hole, but in the middle, it's basically you have this much green area, and then you have sand, then you have the dunes right here. Basically, if you go too short, you're going to end up paying for it. So you have to drop this ball pretty well. And then you have the slant of the hill on the green. It has a very slight slant. I think it's 3.5 degrees from right to left on the upper part. And this kind of really hurts the golfer if they don't get it perfectly set. That's why you'll see a lot of them aim for the left hand side and just go for the birdie. They'll try to make that long putt for double eagle, or yeah, sorry, long putt for eagle. If they miss it, they can still go for birdie pretty easily, because once they clear that slight upcline, it really isn't that hard because there's just enough green area that even a pro cannot miss if they do it correctly. The next one is the third hole. It's par 4, 350 yards, and this one is sort of, I'm not going to say easy, but a lot of people I've seen have either missed or made this hole. Let's just say it this way. It is an easily overlooked hole. Basically, it, though with mostly the tight bunkered fairway on the course, and it used to be a standard layup, but it's now become a drivable par 4 with pretty much what's called a risk reward tee shot past all the fairway, the sand, and an unusually elusive defective green. Um, Basically, what happens here is laying back off the tee and coming at the hole with wedge in hand, and it yields more birdies than boulder play off the tee with the driver in hand. And basically, the Sunday pin is cut back left to the nearest shelf, and that's when you measure it front to back. And it's always amazing to watch them make pretty much make 5 instead of 3 or 4 to boogie the hole from 40 yards out because of the way the green is actually set. So the next one is the fourth hole. It is a par 3 and it's a 240-yard shot. And yes, there are people who have hit this in 2 shots. I have yet to see a person who has made a hole-in-one here, but I'm not saying it's impossible because there should be somebody who could probably do it. It's, like I said, it's only 240 yards. And with a good 7-iron and great consistency, you could try for the hole-in-one. Of course, the green is a little more weird. It's um, it's basically just a long version of the 11th hole at St. Andrews, if you've ever seen it. Um, they moved it. They moved the old tee when it was at 200 and I think it was 207 yards, and now it's more manageable, and it's pretty much, you have a massive front bunker that tends to force you to hit it long or left. instead of hitting it into the hole. Because if you don't hit it far enough, it goes in, but if you overshoot it, it rolls completely downhill, which could really hurt you when it gets in the grass because we all hate hitting balls out of tall grass. Next one's fifth hole, par 4, 455 yards. And this one, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but ah, basically the green it falls away from the approach zone in its second half. So playing the right weight from the fairway is absolutely critical. Um, you have two huge fairway bunkers on the left, um, and when you drive, you have to be very careful about the crosswind. But again, there's plenty of players who make this seem absolutely weird, like they're defying gravity. Um, but I mean, once you get past the two bunkers on the left, once you avoid this what I call contraction, the rest is pretty easy. The hard part is being able to land it onto the green. There is only one, um, unless you hit a completely wild shot, there's only one bunker that you really have to be worried about, and that's the one on the side towards the hole. And since the hole is so close to the end of the green, if you are trying to get as close to the hole as possible and it overshoots and rolls to the right, you have a major problem. um, so, I mean, it's not the hardest hole, but again, I've seen plenty of people try to try too hard and end up losing because of it. The next one is the easiest par 2 or par 3 hole that is par 2'd or is hit in 2 shots so often. The average for this is kind of weird. Before going in the Masters, the average was 3.14, which is pretty cool. But anyway, par 3, 180 yards, and basically, here's no nutshell. The dilemma here off the tee is that while the trouble looks like it's on the left, missing the green on the right, on the high side, um, the right, makes for very tough downhill runway recovery shot. And it's a notoriously difficult green for a long putt to the low left side, with many tips coming up well short, especially when headed to the traditional back right placement. Um, then you also, and it is it's not that hard whatsoever. It's just to the left of the green. It's, most of your professionals can clear this without problem. Um, the seventh hole is a par 4, 450 yards. Um, again, this one is, it used to be a short, simple drive and wedge hole, but, oh, excuse me, yeah, since it was, lengthened and tightened, which I mean, it was made much longer and narrower than it was. They noticed that it was way too easy to play, um, and basically it had proven much more demanding now. Um, Players have to get a very powerful drive through a narrow uh, through trees, and then land a perfectly struck iron from about 180, 200 yards to a green designated for a wedge, which is crazy. And the green is mostly elevated. The bunker hole in the course, and very hard to hold when you approach from out of the woods with some sort of low screaming cutter hook. And if it's often the case, basically it's because the fairway's been reduced to like width by pine trees, and yeah. The eighth hole is a par 5, 570 yards. Goodness gracious. I'm surprised no one has hit it in 6 yet. Well, no one in, well, probably some of the very, very bottom players. I'm going to say this. This is a hole even I could hit in 5 shots if I, took 100 different shots at this one hole. um, but anyway, there used to be a huge bunker onto the right of about 330 yards out, and basically makes everybody want to hit it left. And it used to be very hard to reach. Um, and very few players can get it where they want it to because there's a risk, basically a risk-free layup zone short to the right. Um, but it's absolutely the best green that you can possibly hit on. Like, there's not a lot of slants and angles at this one, and it doesn't give you much trouble at all. And the last hole on the front 9, it's a par 4, 450 yards, and mm, mm, hang on, guys. And this hole, it's kind of weird because it's it's a really sloped green, and there's 3 different tiers that are well above the approach zone. The judging distance is absolutely like ridiculous, and pulling it off so it finishes where you want it is crucial, and it takes a lot of skill. And that is pretty much the front 9. I know I'm not the best person to be talking about this, but then again, um, there's many other people who know more about this than I do. um, the other 9 holes is probably just going to get a lot more boring. People probably don't want to hear it. Um, like, but I'm gonna go ahead and give like a very short briefing about them, not too big. Um, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sick. I'm just, I don't know what it is. I have I've been having to drink a very weird concoction that my granny used to make all the time for whenever something got stuck in my throat. Oh my God, it used to work. I think I might have gotten immune to it though by now. Um, anyway, the 10th hole is a par 4, 495 yards. Basically, here we have a. I'm not gonna say it's not a very hard hole at all. It's just a big, huge dog leg that drops 105 feet from the tee, and it doesn't really reveal itself until halfway down the fairway, and ultimately offers a dramatic, like a theater at the green, because the service doesn't take well to low slung approaches and tends to kick them far left into trouble below, and only remains untouched. The only remain untouched bunker um, basically is 100 yards short of the hole, and it used to protect the old putting surfaces that is like what 100 years ago. No, I'm kidding. Um, anyway, 11th hole, par 4, 505 yards. This one is kind of like a hill at the very beginning, so you have to get a great drive in order to avoid this catastrophe. Basically, here, what you're looking for is to get a shot at least 300 yards in order to safely get past the incline of the hill on the 11th hole. And then you've got the green has a little pond that protects it. So yeah, it starts to get a little tougher, because now you have to void water. I mean, we can all play with sand, but we're not going in the water to try to take a shot at a ball. I'm kidding. And basically, you have no idea how small of a target line that you have to deal with here, just because like you can literally not see it until you actually physically get at that hole. Um, the next one is I think it's the shortest hole on the green. It might be the second shortest. I'm not sure. Um, this one is the 12th hole. It's a par 3, 155 yards. I believe I've only seen one person. I might have seen I think one person that I've ever seen hit a hole in one in this hole. It was like a long time ago. It wasn't even in the Masters. They just showed it on ESPN's top, and it's kind of weird. Basically, it is pretty much the shortest hole, but it's so hard. And it's also the smallest green, and it always has a very simple problem. If you're right-handed and hit it the right distance and tug, you're long left in the bunkers when impossible up and down. If you hit it the same center off the green distance and push to the right, you never get there, are in the creek. And here's a green with no support, no definition from the tee, and takes skill and then some, including the luck to catch it right before the wind changes. And, you know, the 13th hole is a par 5, 510 yards. And basically here, um, usually your 3 irons usually turn over from the tee and still hit 290 yards. And it takes off a lot of risk out of this hole, which has always been hitting it too far left into the creek. Um, and the contrary risk of the tee is to blow a driver through the corner of the dogleg right and wind up in the heavily planted pine trees, um, with a creek lapping um, the front and right corner of the putting surface. It's a smart safe play. And is often long or left, which will leave one of the scariest recoveries on the course, literally. And green tilting away and towards the water. Your 14th hole is par 4, 440 yards. This is a very difficult hole, literally. Basically, hear this out. It's the only unbunkered hole on the course with a complex green that from front to back, including the mountains behind it, actually has more elevation change than all of the Harbor Town golf links in South Carolina. Okay? Here's a hole where the smarter golfer feeds the ball in and from the fairway has to reach the approach shot and roll out as if it were a long putt. Misread or mishit the approach slightly and you're left looking foolish with a 10-footer or so for par or worse. So yeah, probably the hardest hole on the course. Then you have a 15th hole, par 5, 530 yards. This one is fairly easy for most. Basically, you drive it in the fairway and you have a clear go at the green in 2. And everyone focuses on the pond in the front, as well as the steep bank in the green in the front, and it means anything shorter even on the front of the green will likely roll back into the pond. But from the top of the fairway looking down on the dune green, you have to worry about hitting and having the ball run into the pond on the far side. That's part of the 16th hole. And with these issues, often the safe bailout is they hit a second shot into the greenside bunker on the right. And it's also a smart play, and if there's any doubt about going for it, simply to lay back and leave a 90-yard pitch into the green, though no one, facing that shot from now on will, forget what happened to Tiger Woods a couple years ago in the second round when his third shot from 96 yards hit the flagstick and kicked into the pond. Yeah, I wasn't too good. So yeah, he could have had a fifth green jacket. The next one is the 16th hole, par 370 yards. Is the easiest on the last day when it's in a convex part in the left green, and it's the toughest when the hole is way to the right, usually on Saturday against the high side bunker. But you know, the 17th hole is a par 4, 440 yards. Um, this one, let's just say this isn't the people's most favorite. Let's just say the sand dunes are very, very tough. The bunkers are completely tough to play with unless you are literally Tiger Woods. um, and basically, um, let's see, how am I gonna put this? They had to redo this course like a long time ago. So some of you guys who remember seeing it a long time ago, something had happened. The course was damaged or something. So basically, they had a wider vista, so the tee would encourage you to drive it really far, and a lot more tee shots would stay to the left. Um, Basically, the green has a little has a rollover and tries to feed the ball to the center away from the hole. And then your last one is the 18th, par 4, 465, which is, it's very complex, but if you play it enough, it's not that hard of a hole at all. Basically, tied off the tee after hitting a series of draws all day, you're now asked to adjust to a slight fade. So this might be the problem. No wonder so many people block it dead right into the trees, and it's also one of those complex multi-tiered greens from where above the hole is hard to stop it close to the cup. So now we know how tough the Masters is. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm a good golfer, because I'm not. The best I've ever hit in golf on 18 holes was a 63, and it was on probably the easiest course in America. And no, it wasn't putt-putt. Um, but that was back when I actually was on the golf team, so, and that was in middle school. So, and I was the largest guy, and they took us to Countryland Golf Course, and I absolutely loved it. Um, Obviously, wasn't the best player, but anyway, guys, I know that a lot of you who even like sports find that boring, and you're probably snoring right now thinking of Grandma's gravy and biscuits. But anyway, guys, I'll go ahead and let you guys go. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, post any comments in the comment section down below. And as always, I want you guys to do me a favor. Those of you who are kind of bored with me picking the subjects for sports, give me a good topic. Give me something to research, talk with you guys about. Find something that you're interested in. I don't care if it's something as random as what could the Detroit Pistons do to improve their three-point percentage. I could care less if it's something like, what do the Chicago Blackhawks have to do to gain better defense on power plays against them? Which I could probably answer because I followed the Blackhawks, not because, the Gwinnett Gladiators are lower level hockey team uh, from them because of what happened to the Thrashers, but you guys know they are my favorite NHL team. But anyway, guys, let me know what you want to hear. just shoot me a comment or an email. Just let me know what you guys want to hear for Sports Saturday. I'll be more than happy to research it and talk with you. But anyway, guys, I'll go and let you guys go. Hope you guys had as much time, great time as I had. I'll see you guys next time at Shifty's Club.